What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking out for the future of this company. I'm also going to be talking about where I see the share price going next week, as I am very bullish actually going into next week, considering the fact that they have their grand earnings report. I think it's going to be incredible. I think they may have some very big announcements, and I do think that this could lead us to running very smoothly next week. I'm also going to talk about the latest pieces of news affecting Tesla, what's going on with the global situation, and Elon Musk and Twitter. We have some very big things going on right now, as Musk has made an offer to buy Twitter, the entire company, at the share price of like $54. He's willing to spend billions just to get it. And that's going to be fantastic going into the future. So I'd like to see how this plays out. I want to talk about that a little bit. I also want to talk about where I see Tesla going and what the technicals are showing. Now, before I break any of this down, before I talk about what's going on with the data and Tesla, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. The first thing is, I'm not a financial planner, so please don't take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. Not only benefits me, but benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo with my link down below and deposit $100, you're going to get 6 free stocks, each worth up to $3,500. Remember, you could always sell these 6 free stocks for cash, whether you get $100 or $1,000, and buy some Tesla shares with that money. This is a limited time offer to get some free Tesla stock, so please check it out with Moomoo with the link down below. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So anyways, in my previous video, I told you guys that I saw Tesla dropping a little bit today after what we were seeing from the data from the SPY and also from different factors. And I did think that we could actually hold above that $1,000 range. And I did say we could drop just a little bit. I didn't think we would drop this much lower, but I wasn't wrong about us being in the red. Now, let's actually talk about something interesting. So yesterday I showed you guys this data for April 14th, which is today. Today is basically Friday for the market because the market is closed tomorrow. It's closed in commemorance of Good Friday. Just wanted to remind you guys about that. If you look at the puts that were out of the money yesterday, it was almost 2.7 million. Remember that I showed you guys that number. It seemed way too high. And it seemed like these market makers, these shorts, these big institutions, they did not like having all of these puts out of the money. So that just means that the price of the SPY, the overall market, was a little bit too high for their needs. So they ended up pushing it down just a little bit to get a few extra 100,000 in the money. So that is what I thought would end up happening. That is what happened, as the SPY did take a bit of a hit. So did the NASDAQ and the entire market. And we also had this piece of news that may have played a bit of a role. I just want to talk about this briefly. Basically, the virus emergency situation was extended for another 90 days by the Biden administration. And they're doing this because of what's happening in China and other factors. And you could think whatever you want about this, but this did have a bit of an effect on the market. I don't necessarily see cases just soaring right now. They're not soaring like they once were. Things are definitely improving in the US, but this is just what they're doing for safety precautions. And once again, you're free to agree or disagree. I just want to put this out there because this will have an effect on the market, and it may have affected the market somewhat today as well. Now, I don't see this as a very big bearish catalyst. I don't think it's going to cause anything too horrible going into next week, because Tesla does have their great earnings report going out. I mean, I can't wait for it. It's on April 20th. I want to remind you guys, April 20th, which I believe is next Wednesday. It's less than a week from now. And that in turn should be incredible because they may announce something big about their products. They could announce something involving expansion, the new gigafactories, or even the stock split. Now, stock splits, once again, they're not fundamentally going to improve the company, but they actually do bring in excitement. They open more doors for many investors, and that will cause the share price to temporarily go up. So I just want to put that out there. If they do make a big announcement, it could be massive. And I think in anticipation of earnings, I definitely think the share price should start to run up a little bit. And we also have this gap right here, right? This gap did not get filled. I mean, on the 14th, you can see this gap between that, what is that, the 1,013 and $1,020 range. So I think Tesla will easily be back in the $1,020 range. So if we do somehow open around that $980 level on Monday, this thing is easily going to soar up. It's a good opportunity to buy or try to scalp some options or scalp whatever you want to do. I just want to put it out there because I am pretty darn bullish going into next week. Now, how high could we go? I think that's the question on everyone's minds. Let me bring up the 2-hour candles because I like to kind of zoom out and show you guys the macro situation we're in. We were on a bit of a downward trend over these last couple of weeks, right? You could see this thing was at 1,152, and since then we've been descending, bouncing between these support and resistance levels. And I did show you guys that $975 level. That's where we had that support. And what happened was that held us up pretty darn well. We also have a gap, right? I talked about this gap right here around that $1,020 range. There's another gap that I don't think it was completely filled. It may have been it's around that 100 and well, I'm sorry, that $1,026 range, right? There's a possibility we're probably going to get that high, but the really ambitious thing that I think is very possible, and you got to be on the lookout for that, is this gap right here. There's a third gap, or maybe a second gap. I don't know if it was right for me to count this one, but there's another big gap that would take us all the way up to that 1,056 or $1,057 range. It's very possible for Tesla to fill that gap sometime next week, probably by Tuesday, maybe even on Wednesday, if they do have some big piece of news. To me, that's very bullish. It looks very, very good right now. We have something very similar on the SPY. I think I forgot to mention this. The SPY also has a gap at 446.74. So that's also very good. That means the SPY is most likely going to run up by many, many dollars for the opening days of next week. And you do have to take this with a grain of salt because any piece of news or something very big could come out that can make me wrong. But as of right now, I'm not seeing that. It's looking pretty darn bullish for next week. We're seeing gaps all over the place. And for my prediction, if I can make any prediction, I'm going to be honest, I do think it's very possible for Tesla to break past that $1,056 range going into next week. I would not be surprised if we filled that gap, and that is what I think is going to happen. Now, for Monday and the other days, I'm going to make another video to give you a more meticulous prediction, but I also want to talk about the news and what's going on with Elon Musk and Twitter. So I'm just going to briefly talk about this right here. There was obviously a lawsuit because of some issues that were going on in Tesla, and they managed to actually decrease the amount of money they'd have to pay to about $15 million from $137 million. And to me, that's a pretty good move they've made, I guess. But in my opinion, when things like this happen, it's not good at all whatsoever. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. I'm not going to say the word, but you guys know exactly what I'm referring to. And when things like this happen, right, the company has to take responsibility. But at the end of the day, the real question is how they grow from this, how they try to avoid these issues. I definitely think Tesla has something, a plan to really, really improve from this. Things like this will happen. It happens every now and then. It does not mean that Elon Musk was involved or the company itself is evil. It just means that there may have been very big issues. Some employees can make them, and they need to grow from this, which I definitely think they will. I just wanted to put this out there because it's never acceptable for things like that to be happening. But at the end of the day, they did manage to kind of change the consequence of it, and they have improved from it. So I really hope they grow. And I also want to talk about this. This was all over the news. I mean, to me, I don't truly know how true this is, right? We could be seeing half the truth because the mainstream media tends to be biased. It tends to be biased. I did not get a lot of information about this quite yet, but I just wanted to show you what the media is talking about. That's the fact that a driver claims that the computer on his Tesla froze while traveling 83 miles per hour on the freeway. So once again, I don't even know if he was truly speeding or not. Some places allow you to drive that fast. Most places do not. And on top of that, it does appear that what he's saying may have truth behind it. He claims that his car was not working properly, and there could be defects that happen every now and then. There can be issues, so it's very possible. I just want to put this out there that this may have also played somewhat of a role in Tesla dropping, but I don't see this as the end of the world. I mean, issues like this can happen, but we really need to learn more about them before drawing conclusions because we need to know what's the true context, what actually happened. We need more details. We need an investigation potentially. We need to look into it first before throwing hands. And as of right now, it's fortunate that the driver is safe and okay. He did not necessarily get hurt or like too badly. So that's a very good sign. I'm happy about that, but I just wanted to put this out there. Now, anyways, I want to talk about the big piece of news, and that's the fact that Elon Musk, the man, the myth, the legend, Elon Musk has offered to buy Twitter in a takeover attempt. And to me, that's fantastic news. Now, we have to take a couple of steps back, right? People sometimes talk about the fact that you should not have one person having too much power. I definitely agree with that, right? But there are sometimes exceptions, right? An exception would be if there's one person that I think that they could do a better job at improving different sectors in these industries. I do think that if he took control, he would definitely improve the platform known as Twitter. I think he'll definitely improve and really advocate for freedom of speech for every individual. So to me, it's absolutely incredible news. When it comes to his offer, you can see right here, he made the best and final offer in his own words to buy 100% of Twitter in an updated 13D filing with the SEC. He offered to buy the entire company at a share price of $54.20, or that 420. You guys could see that's what he was aiming for, that 420, $54.20 per share in cash. And there are people talking about the fact that it's going to be very difficult for him to make that payment because of the fact that he does not have that much cash. But I think he obviously has ways around it. It's very easy for him to get loans or figure his way around things. And Elon Musk is not investing in something stupid or crazy. He knows what he's doing. He knows that if he invests in Twitter, it's going to be an asset. The share price is going to soar anyways. So it does not matter in terms of him losing money. He's going to make money. So his offer values at $43 million, according to CNBC. That's still incredible, the work he's willing to do and how much he's willing to innovate while maintaining his values and his advocacy for freedom of speech. So big shout out to him for that. I'm very excited about that. Their news reports saying that he can't necessarily do this. He needs a big loan, this and that. But I mean, to me, I don't really know the true financial situation. I definitely think he knows what he's doing. He could easily pay for it. And if he were to actually buy Twitter, this is what his portfolio or the amount of, I don't know, his index, you could call his billionaire index, would look like. This is what many sources confirm. He would have $172 billion worth of Tesla shares, 101 million in the Boring Company, 40 billion in SpaceX, 43 billion in Twitter, and 56 billion for Tesla options. And obviously he's buying call options, so he's probably holding leaps, which I think is also a very good move. He'll make even more money based off that. So this is what his portfolio may look like if they actually go with the offer. Now, here's something else that's very big. I think a poll actually found this, and they estimated that Twitter's stock would crash 20%, maybe even more than that, 25%, 30%. That's just my own estimate, but at least 20% if they reject the Elon Musk offer to buy the company. And for me, I mean, it's going to be very easy to play this on options if you actually know what you're doing. I just want to put it out there. But when it comes to this, I mean, if I were Twitter, I would really just let Elon Musk take it. I mean, that's what the large majority of people I believe would want, but it's really up to them, their own choice. I do think that they're going to try to avoid this and stop him, but like I said before, it's going to hurt their company if they don't do it. So it's really up to them. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is what Elon Musk just said, and just shows what type of person he is. He stated that taking Twitter private at $54.20 should be up to shareholders, not the board. Once again, that's very interesting for him to say that. A lot of people are they're very much in favor of what he's doing, and it just shows that he has a big appreciation for shareholders. He knows how important they are, and he's really in favor of freedom of speech and improving the company for that will. So to me, it's great news. If you were to actually acquire it, I don't think this would really impact Tesla that much unless something big were to happen. But at the end of the day, it's a great thing from Elon Musk. As far as Tesla goes, it's definitely improving in terms of the share price. I do think we already found our local bottom, and I would not be surprised if this thing really starts to run going into next week based off what we're seeing, based off earnings, and I cannot wait. So anyways, I want to thank you all for listening. Please enjoy the weekend. The stock market is closed tomorrow due to Good Friday, and as a result of that, we just have to sit back, relax, and get ready for next week. Enjoy the weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, and peace out.